Hello, my name is Dalton Parker, and this is my client interview for PFTR 2423. So in this assignment, we were going to videotape the interview process for the initial assessment of a new client. So basically what I do with my assessments is I send out all my documentation prior to having us meeting. That way the client can read through all the documents, formulate some of his responses, and then because I don't like when you go to a training session and the trainer just hands you a bunch of documents and says, read them, sign them, hand them back to me. I don't feel like that's very personal, and training should be just that. We're personal trainers. So the client and the trainer need to have a very positive rapport and feel comfortable with each other. So that's why I send the documents out prior. What I would send out is a GAQ, informed consent form, stages of change questionnaire, and a PASBQ form. So we went through all those, we set them all, and we'll go through the results later on in the video. So what I'm going to do is we are going to have a mock client interview. So it would be like this. So today is May 21st, 2019. My name is Dalton Parker. Hi.
Hello, my name is Jacob Parker.
Okay. Awesome. So there are a few questions and things that I need to go through with an initial intake. Just first, we need to just get some contact information from you. Now, we got through all the contact information and stuff like that, so it's just going to be a lot more informal from now on. So let's go through a little bit of the medical and health information. Are there any medications that you're taking? So any like prescribed medications or over-the-counter medications?
Nope.
Nope? No vitamins, no nothing like that?
I'll take vitamin C and stuff like that when I'm starting to feel sick.
Yeah, but not a multivitamin or any supplementation of any kind?
Nope.
Okay. We will definitely look into that later on once we assess some deficiencies and stuff like that. Medical conditions, any like allergies or sensitivities?
Nope.
Nope, you're all good there? Okay. Anatomical deficiencies, have we ever had like loose ankles, bad shoulders, bad back, anything like that?
I severely rolled my ankle at about the end of April this year.
Okay. Do you want to tell me a little bit more about that? Like, did it roll to the inside, to the outside? Like,
I hopped off about a 3-foot platform and rolled it towards the inside.
okay. Okay. So are you taking like any like painkillers for that, or are you said no to the medical, but no medication for that?
Nope.
Do you wear like a brace or anything like that?
Yeah, after the first week, I couldn't walk on it and I couldn't fit like a compression brace on it. But after that, when the swelling went down, I've been wearing a compression brace ever since, especially while I'm working.
Okay, perfect. So like, have you had like any other previous injuries in the past, or that's pretty much it?
That's pretty much it.
Okay. Cool. We can just move on to some lifestyle factors and stuff like that play into consideration, like how I would like to design a workout program for you. Do you actually have any experience with physical activity?
No, not really. I mean, I grew up on a family farm, so growing up there was a lot of work to be done, but ever since I moved away, I haven't been working out or anything like that lately.
Okay. So I know, like myself, growing up on the farm with you, because you're the brother and everything like that, we did have like a lot of like manual labor positions. Did you like carry like buckets of grain?
Oh yeah. Buckets of
water?
grain, calf, salt blocks, plenty of things like that to carry.
Okay, so it was quite like in both aerobics, so you ran a lot and you also like forte and stuff like that. So
yeah.
so you had experience with physical activity. Were you involved in any other like extracurricular activities? Like after school, they have like a volleyball program or something?
Yeah, I was part of the high school volleyball team and basketball team. I also played badminton and helped somebody's train for their football when they were playing that sports. And I played hockey when I was younger, but that stopped when I was about 12. So
Okay, so you have had exposure with physical activity and sport and stuff like that, but never like a gym setting?
No.
Never anything like that? Okay. So would you describe your occupation? What do you do? What do you do for work?
I am a insulator. I contract for pipelines. I head out east and I just insulate tanks, usually around 40 feet high. Do a lot of standing or sitting if I'm doing lots of prep work, like making clips and stuff. And then standing, I'm on the scissor lift and then just insulating the tank. Not a lot of movement, but still, you get sore on the legs by the end of the day.
Okay, so you do that like all year round, or you do that like
I do
part-time?
do that all year round, but mostly it's just in the summertime. Work gets very slow during the late fall to winter, and then during about now in the time of year it starts to pick up a lot.
So cool. Do you go to school?
Yeah, I am a student at Lakeland College. I just finished my first year of animal science technology. In the fall, end of August, start of September, I will be starting my second year.
Okay, perfect, cool. So work schedule. I know that. So you said you're a student half, 3/4 of the year, and work the other portion of the year. So like, can you give me like a bit of a work schedule? Because we're moving into summer, I guess. So like, how many days on, days off would you have? Like, do you work like 12 hours a day, 5 days a week?
So that kind of depends on the size of the tank. Most of the time it's 3 to 5 days a tank. I usually work anywhere between 12 and 15 hours a day.
So basically whatever time off you get depends on like what contracts you guys get in and stuff
Yes.
like that. So it's variable. Okay, no worries. We can work around that. You said you like part of the day is up, moving around on your feet. Part of the day is sitting, making like clips and stuff like that. So what would you like rate your occupational physical intensity at? Would you say like you're running 24/7, or it's like you do run like 50% of the time, but 50% of the time you're sitting?
I would give it a 40% of the time I'm booking it, and the other 60, it can be light labor and still be doing a good job and getting everything out of the way.
Okay. So, and I guess this plays a part into like the availability for the work schedule. I guess it's just kind of like when a tank is and when a tank isn't. You
Yes.
kind of have time off. Okay, I can work with that. Sedentary time. So you said you were a student and working all in one kind of thing. So you're a pretty busy dude. What would you estimate your sedentary time? So like we estimate sedentary time is like not sleeping. So anytime that you're sitting down in a day, like watching TV versus standing up and actually working. Both. If you can give me an approximation for like working and like school.
So working for, like I said, 12 to 15 hours a day, my relax time is very limited. I give it maybe 2-3 hours in a day. That's 3 hours is pushing it.
Yeah.
And then for school time, I would definitely have to say close to that 10 hours just with sitting in classes and that. I don't go to the gym or anything, and it's a 5-minute walk to all my classrooms and all that. So
Yeah. So like when you're at school, it's kind of a lot of sedentary time. So it's like sitting in a desk, studying, like very hunched over, like at computers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I can work with that. Smoking. Do you smoke?
Yes.
Okay. Can you give me an approximation of like how much you smoke?
I would estimate probably a pack a month, maybe.
Okay. I can also work with that. I'd like to cut you down on that one for sure. Alcohol consumption. I know that you had said like 15 hours a day for work schedule. That really realistically doesn't allow you for more than like
A beer after supper or beer during supper. Yeah, that's pretty much when I'm working. Yeah.
Okay. School time. You not drink or you just
I partake a lot more than I should.
okay. Estimate average per week, I guess.
I could probably go through 2, maybe 3 bottles of whiskey a week.
Okay, so we're definitely gonna have to drop that number for sure. So diet. How would you rate your diet?
Not very well, because, like I said, for my work, I go out east a lot. I live in hotels, so it's a lot of instant microwave food. I mean, at the job site, we actually have some salads and stuff to eat, fruit and all that. But after the day's done, you're just tired, and you can throw some ramen
Something
in
in
the
real
microwave while you have a shower, and there you go.
And then you can get eaten in pretty much go to bed.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that we're gonna need to work on, but with the time limitation, just because like you said, 15 hours a day, it doesn't really give you too much time. Just clean yourself up and go to bed, I guess. So there's like the diet is something that we're gonna need to consider, but diet's definitely a sliding scale. We can work around those parameters. Sleep. How many hours of sleep do you get a night?
On average, I probably get around 8 hours. At least I try my best to. That's probably like I tried for the 8 hours, maybe more nights, 5 or 6.
Okay. So I like that. That's a pretty good average. Stress level. Would you rate your stress level?
Pretty low. I'm very laid back, but during, let's say, finals or if we're rushed for a tank, it starts to get high. But being rushed for tanks is not a huge problem, and finals are all done, so my stress levels are very low.
Yeah. I know you're a pretty relaxed guy. You don't seem to, let too much bother you. So roll with the punches, I guess. Cool. So now we're gonna actually get into some of the goals that we would like to see for personal training. So basically, like what would you hope to get out of personal training? Like we can work on like weight loss, we can work on strength gain, flexibility, stopping being sedentary, breathing, balance, coordination, cardio training. What would be like your main goal for personal training?
Probably my main goal would be weight loss and flexibility. Back when I was in high school, I was very flexible and weighed probably $120, so definitely put on that 80 pounds. So I'd like to shave that down maybe 25 to 30-ish pounds. Being able so I can touch my toes again, and maybe a bit more upper arm strength. But that would be my goal.
Okay. And I know, like you said, you work on tanks and stuff like that. So I guess like balance and coordination would be a thing too, right? Because you're like high up in the air. Like, how big are these tanks that you're working on?
On average, the tallest tank I've ever worked on was about 55 feet, but on average they're only 42, 46 feet.
Okay. So you're up in the air and stuff like that. So sometimes you're harnessed.
Yes.
Sometime. Okay. Well, that's definitely. So you would think like balance and coordination would definitely help if we worked on it a little bit in training as well. It would be something. Okay. Perfect. And so reasons for participation in personal training, like why did you want to start getting involved in the gym?
It's kind of like the same as the question before. I just like to lose a couple pounds here, maybe get back in shape like I used to be, so I don't go for a 5-minute run and feel like death afterwards. Just trying to get my endurance and back into shape.
Okay, so just looking to get a little bit better and stuff like that. Not really focused. Don't really have like a main reason for coming into personal training. Just general health and just get a little better. Okay, perfect. Well, so that concludes what we would do for like an initial assessment. So now let's go over some of the results from the GAQ, the informed consent. Basically, that form sheet just says there are certain risks associated with performing physical activity. I acknowledge that there is a risk. We went through all like the health screening stuff, and you were all cleared. You have no pre-existing conditions, so it's good to participate in physical activity. So from the scores, we actually did them prior to the interview. We calculated and we did all the results. So from the stages of change questionnaire, we would put you in the thinking about changing, right? Because like the schedule during the summer, right? Like you're a little bit more hectic, you're a little bit more on the go. So it's hard for us to nail down an exact time where we could get training. So you're thinking about making a change, but we're like, there are factors in the way of us getting to. Would you say that's an accurate statement?
Yes, I would.
Okay. The second one was the PASBQ. That was basically a physical activity and sedentary behavior questionnaire. So from the results and from what we went through, we can see that realistically, during like the school year, sedentary time is, like you said, like 10 hours or whatever. Or like your aerobic training is, you don't really go to the gym. You said like 5-minute walk to class, so, maybe like an hour or two. So we're definitely in the lower to like the poor to fair. So I would definitely like to see during the school year us pick that up, definitely. But I do realize that studying for exams and studying for classes and participating in class, that's definitely a factor. But that's something that we're gonna look at and work on. Same thing with diet. It's one of the ones that we're gonna have to start to track our macros a little bit better. And I myself, I'm a personal trainer, so I can teach you how to exercise. I can suggest healthy things. Basically, I can just follow the Canada Health Food Guide, and I can recommend what their dosages are. I can tell you what my dosages are. I would in no way tell you to follow my program, right? Because everybody's body has different physiological requirements. So you would need to, if we want to get and break down the nutrition, the diet plan a little bit better, we would have to talk to a nutritionist. That's not me, but like I said, I can give you a little bit, not enough, but I can help you a little bit. Cool. So with, like I said, the initial intake for clients and everything, we sit down and we have this interview today. We go through a couple of the physiological assessments, just basically starting off just so that I can get an idea of like where we would like to go, and then we move into some more of the physiological assessments in the next session, just so that we can firmly establish where we are, where to start training, and how to go from there. Sound good?
Yeah.
Cool. Right. That's the interview.
All right. Thank you very much.